A deep run in the main event is not a poker player's right.
Lady.
Have a set.
If you do the math, reaching the final 100 is about a 1 in 63 proposition. The best players can overcome these odds, and sometimes an amateur can too. How else to explain Beverly Lang?
You ready?
What do you think I have? King's full.
Oh! Or Phil Mader.
The main event is the one everybody wants to play, so I go out of my way. I farm, so it's a really poor time for me to get away, but luckily I have a great family.
But if the chips usually end up in the pros stacks, then someone like Carlos Mortensen, J.C. Tran, or Jonathan Jaffe will make a run far beyond the final 100. We will watch and find out.
That's just Dolly Brunson, who wrote the book.
He's moving in for the kill.
And there it is. Helmuth wins the championship.
Moneymaker puts his name amongst the greatest players in the game.
Wake me now.
Merson is the main event champion.
Biggest day of my life.
Main event, day 5.
Welcome back to Las Vegas for day 5 of the World Series of Poker main event. Texas amateur Beverly Lang can hardly contain her excitement.
It's crazy. If you can, the edge of my smile is like back here by my ears. You can't go to sleep at night. You're so elated. It's so fun. And I've got my friends railing me at home. And I'm texting them Steiner Ranch and Victoria, and it's just too fun.
Lon McCarron with Norman Chad and Kara Scott as 58-year-old Steve G looks to make a repeat appearance at the final table. Carlos Mortensen making some noise in 2013.
My name is Carlito Mortensen. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Dolphin trainer and training Jonathan Jaffe is on a major rush near the top of the leaderboard.
Dolphin trainer? That's got to be some type of money laundering scam.
Norwegian pro Annette Oberstad with an above-average stack.
If they ever remake Bonnie and Clyde, she's got to be first in line to play Bonnie.
Chris Lind is leading the way here in the middle of day 5. Jaffe in 3rd. Canadian attorney Jason Mann in 6th.
The top 3 names on that board, Lynn, Rustum, and Jaffe, all are good at throwing people off their game. They're a little unpredictable, and it works.
A lot of notables in the field. Former online superstar David Benefield has over 2.4 million. Ukrainian-born Yevgeny Timoshenko right behind him.
That's about the case for pretty much all my best plays are on par with what an idiot would do.
Yeah, I know. It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah. That's why I can't even brag about them to anyone, because they're like, yeah, well.
They'd be like, what?
There was a guy at my table who pulled the same and he couldn't read the board, so.
Those are the best hands to win.
Yeah.
Annette and Jonathan having a moment in between hands. They've been at it all day. Jaffe's been getting the best of it so far.
He is creative, sociable, and talented. Not my kind of guy, Lon.
And he's got a lot of chips. Annette so far really impressing here on day 5.
She has matured with a different attitude about life, and that's reflected in her play. She's easier to root for now.
Blinds right now at 12 and 24,000. The ante is 4,000. Jaffe under the gun. 8-7 of hearts.
Jaffe used to box. How does a guy with a nice mug like that box? He should be playing ping pong.
He must be a good boxer. A raise to 52,000.
I should box, and I would box if the duct tape would hold my glasses together better.
Best way to solve that, just get him out of here.
J.C. Tran in seed 1, one of the game's best. He folds to Oliver Price, a British pro.
I feel like I'm in the Brazilian rainforest with this guy at the table.
He folds to Eli Heath in the small blind, also from Great Britain. He gives it up in the big blind, Sergio Castelluccio. If I had the guts to change my name, it would be Sergio Castelluccio.
1.6.
Easier to spell than Lon McCarron.
It is indeed. He called, heads up, Jaffe and Castelluccio. 6 ace 7 2 hearts. Castelluccio with a gut shot. Jaffe has middle pair and a flush draw. Castelluccio checks. Jaffe loves to reach for chips. 55,000.
Dolphin training is the same as poker. Give the player a little bait, then teach him a lesson.
Castelluccio on the draw. We'll come along for another street at least. Turn card down. Another 7 trips for Jaffe. Castelluccio drawing dead.
Drawing dead and reaching for chips.
That is Jaffe's day so far. 90,000 from Sergio.
And Jaffe's thinking, you're representing my hand. I have my hand. What the heck?
What do you have?
Well, you know, it's so hard to know what Jaffe has because he raises with any hand at any point.
And he's raising here. 210,000.
And here, Sergio easily might think Jonathan is bluffing. I mean, could Jonathan really have a 7 if he raised under the gun?
And my namesake folds. And Jonathan Jaffe continues to do things at this featured table to earn him chips as he pulls in more ammunition at this very tough table.
Creative, sociable, talented. He actually should be a first-round pick when we start Chad Poker.
Pick up any poker book or get advice from a pro and they'll tell you play tight aggressive or ABC poker is the way to go. But Norman, what should viewers think when they see a player like Jonathan Jaffe enjoying so much success? We all want the key to the main event. Does Jaffe have it?
Okay, I'm about to go deep on you. Not existential, but deep. In life, if you're the same as everyone else, you are a loser. You don't want to be like every other ant on the anthill. ABC poker gets you only so far. There are 23 other letters in the alphabet. Do I need to spell them all out for you? To stand out on the felt, sometimes you need to play XYZ or PQR poker. Unpredictable sells, and right now, Jonathan Jaffe is unpredictable with a capital K.
At an outer table, that is French poker pro Sylvain Loosely with ace-queen. He just called the all-in of Brad Myers of Vermont. He's dominated with ace-10.
Myers is roommates here in Las Vegas with current chip leader Chris Lynn. Loosely rooms with Elke Gropellier in London.
The old put on your backpack before the flop comes out. Ace, straight jack.
All right, a 3 and a king, I'll take.
3 and a 3.
3-3. A 3 is good.
Turn card is a 10. Myers catches that card. He's got the lead.
So now Loosely needs a king, queen, or jack to bust Myers.
Broadway draw for Loosely. The jack counterfeits Myers' 2 pair. And Loosely's queen kicker will take the pot. Tough way to go out for Myers. 117th place.
He's cashing out first, so Myers should take care of the rent this month, not Chris Lynn.
His 4th World Series cash is his biggest. Loosely moves past the 2 million chip marker and scores the knockout.
The French business school grad turned poker pro's got chips.
At the secondary table, Carlos Mortensen pondering pocket aces after Max Coleman open raised with pocket queens, and Vladimir Geshkenbein. Now, if I'm going to change my name, it's going to be Vladimir Geshkenbein now. He called.
You're going in the wrong direction, Mr. McEachern.
Mortensen with a re-raise to 115,000.
Mortensen's so good at no limit. Giving him aces just doesn't seem fair.
Carlos doubled up on the very first hand of this day 5. He started this hand with 716,000 chips. He's had to work hard to stick around. Everyone else folds. Back to Max Coleman with the queens, the 23-year-old from Wichita now.
They're like 600 behind.
He doesn't have to answer that. He's Carlos Mortensen. The one-time chip leader easily has Carlos covered.
And he 4-bets to 250,000. My namesake folds. Carlos shouldn't take long to act here.
All in.
Raising all in.
He's the matador. When Carlos goes all in, he should have a red cape that sweeps across the felt.
And a reluctant call from Coleman, and Carlos Mortensen with a golden opportunity to get a much-needed double-up.
Well, for Coleman, once he 4-bet line, he committed himself to the hand, now looking to get lucky to get rid of Carlos Mortensen.
All right, here's the flop. Mortensen at risk, but with aces. 10, jack, 7. Mortensen still best.
The 2001 main event champ likes the look of that flop.
Double X Max Coleman does not. Turn card now. King of diamonds, that gives both straight draws. Coleman is open-ended.
Well, the queen no longer any good for Coleman. It would give Carlos Broadway, but an ace or a 9 would give Coleman a straight and a knockout.
And the river card is a jack. A big hand versus big hand confrontation, and Carlos Mortensen doubles up again.
And a big blow to Max Coleman.
Max Coleman now sits with just 431,000 chips. The 2001 main event champ Carlos Mortensen with $1.5 million, as the Matador keeps himself relevant with a timely pickup of aces. The 2013 World Series of Poker is brought to you by Caesars Casino on Facebook. What happens in Vegas now can go anywhere. The main event brings the poker world together every summer. Over 6,000 entrants again this year. Over $8.3 million to our champion. Let's get back to a very tough featured table with Annette Oberstadt, J.C. Tran, Jonathan Jaffe, Rep Porter. Folded to Tran right now, as usual, sporting the Sacramento Kings garb. Happy they decided not to leave his hometown. Pocket eights.
JC won bracelets in 2008 and 9.
A raise to 52,000. Oliver Price with Ace King.
In his first main event, a big Phil Galfond fan. Hey, who isn't?
This is his first $10,000 buy-in, and the risk is paying off for him. Oliver Price with a re-raise to 121,000. You have to make a statement, a big statement at this featured table to make your mark. Jaffe will not play. Folded around to the big blind. Rep Porter, two-time bracelet winner with Ace Queen.
Ace Queen's a loser. Doyle Brunson doesn't like it. Case closed.
Getting short on ammo. He's all in for his last 430,000. Tran with the eights now.
Well, pocket nines I might play here. Pocket eights, no way. It's been 4-bet all in.
Yeah. Price re-raised Tran. Tran reluctantly folds the eights. And Oliver, I guess, is priced in.
Not good for me.
And so it'll be Rep Porter in line to be knocked out, holding the lesser ace.
Porter, 42-year-old poker pro from Woodinville, Washington. He went all in with 17 big blinds left.
All right, here's the flop. 5-10-4. Porter comes up empty. Price can't celebrate just yet.
That's a pretty boring flop line. Can we see another?
Just a turn card ahead. Turn card is a queen. Porter pairs up. And he turns the tables on Oliver Price.
That queen, I think, shot some adrenaline into Rep Porter's veins.
Price added a Broadway draw, but misses on the river, and Rep Porter manages to hang on and double up and then some.
They got you back a little bit.
Another all-in, another emotionless transaction at this main event. Where's Havad Khan when you need him?
Oliver Price now with just under 1 million chips. Rep Porter's double up has him just under 1 million chips, both below the chip average.
Lon, what would you do with Ace Queen if you had it?
I don't know, but we ask a lot of players what they would do.
Yeah.
Bad hand.
Trouble. Overrated. Online, I'm never folding it, but live, I'm folding it a lot.
I have to think of Mike Sexton on TV saying never go broke with a queen in your hand.
When I think of ace queen, I think of 3-betting probably.
Flush. Ship it. It sucked for me in this tournament.
Whenever you're playing with these kids, that hand's a monster to me, so I got it. If I need to. It's in.
Rep Porter doesn't watch the WPT, so he's never heard Mike Sexton talking about a queen. In fact, he's never heard of Mike Sexton.
Thomas Beckstead and his double-setted headwear at an outer table shoved with ace-king and 14 big blinds, giving the Vancouver attorney Jason Mann and his pocket fives reason to deliberate a bit.
It's a proven fact. Decisions are harder and take longer when your opponent is wearing 2 hats.
I'm gonna give you life, maybe.
Mann makes the call. Not confidently.
Good luck, Josh. I run pretty good in flips.
Me too.
I got a Canadian $5 bill. I got the lucky Canadians on my side.
There's a flop, and there's a 5. Good call, Jason.
Oh, that bill's done.
Beckstead can get ready to call the cab. Turn card, another 5 quads for Mann. And I thought the Canadians were nice people.
Yeah, they're nice people. But these lawyers, Lon, they always have a hand in your pocket.
Seat open there at that table after Beckstead, the 27-year-old poker pro and golf instructor, is run off in 113th place. And Jason Mann gets that much stronger. Beckstead, his main event is over.
I run pretty good in flips.
Not this time. Quads send Beckstead out the door, double hat and all. Back at the Rio Carrascadas with someone who knows what it takes to win the big one.
Phil Hellmuth is the man with more bracelets than anyone else in the world. It says so on his hat. He has 13. And you've gone deep in this tournament. You've gone deep in so many events. What advice would you give to the players who are left now?
I mean, it's so much about patience, you know, and I knew that, and it's set up that way. I mean, you have so much time to work your chips. There's so much skill, and that's why we're seeing a lot of great players get there.
And great players like former champion Carlos Mortensen. Talk to me about him.
I mean, I went and told Carlos Mortensen that he's the best no-limit hold'em player ever. I mean, this guy is, it's unbelievable. He's the all-time leading money winner on the World Poker Tour. And what he's done in no limit, and that's all no limit. What he's done in no limit is just sick.
And that is the word on the tournament from Phil Hellmuth. 13 bracelets.
Annette Oberstad, the 07 World Series Europe main event champ, and in 2012, Phil Hellmuth added the main event title in Europe to his 1989 main event title here.
Annette, the youngest ever to win a bracelet. The asterisk, she won it in London, where 18-year-olds can gamble. With 10-8 of clubs, Annette raised to $50,000. Mikhail Brimmelhaus on the button with 7-6 is thinking about something. That's a re-raise to $125,000.
Mikhail's good friend from Amsterdam, Jorn Volthaus, still alive in this main event.
Both blinds fold back to Annette.
Well, Brimmelhaus got feisty with 7-6 on the button. He thinks Annette raised light, so he 3-bets her. Pretty good play, unless she repops it.
Well, Annette thinking about it.
Well, she was happy Jonathan Jaffe was out of the hand. Now she's got to worry about another active account to her left.
Annette calls, can't back down from a silly 3-bet by a Dutchman on the button. This could be fun. Who will blink first? Here's the flop. 5-10-4. Oberstadt hits top pair. Brimmelhaus picked up an open-ender. Annette checks.
Annette's been texting her mother on breaks and says her mom is more excited than she is about her deep run. Brimmelhaus's mother will not accept texts from him when he's wearing that shirt.
Brimmelhaus bets $95,000.
Brimmelhaus with the semi-bluff, no ABC poker from him. First he raised pre-flop with 7-6. Now hoping to get Oberstad off of her hand here, or if need be, hit his straight.
Annette with top pair, just a call. And so considering where these two started, this pot is getting rather big, over $500,000. Turn card is a tray. Brimmelhaus turns the straight. Oh my goodness. Annette checks again.
And if Brimmelhaus has to show down this hand line, it's great for his image. Unpredictable can be profitable.
Mikhail checks as well.
Well, that was a sneaky check.
River card is an 8. If you're Annette, you love that card. 2 pair now, but Norman, what only the viewers at home know, Brimmelhaus already has the straight.
I love when you whisper sweet nothings into my ear. But indeed, what a great river card for the Dutch pro. Annette makes top 2 pair, and he already had the nuts. He's going to get a bet out of her, and he might even get her to call a raise.
Annette with $280,000. Now Brimmelhaus, the Dutch poker pro. Yep, you got the straight. He can't believe it either.
All in.
He raises all in.
Boy, what can he have? Annette's thinking. I do not envy Annette Oberstad in this spot.
She does look interested. Phil Hellmuth looking on intently.
Can you put that out and count what's left?
Annette's thinking about this call, of course.
So 400 more?
And remember, he 3-bet pre-flop. Look at that board.
There's the call.
Straight.
Brimmelhaus turns over the unlikely straight.
Yeah, Annette was shaking her head as she made the call.
It's pretty ugly.
And these two essentially will swap chip stacks.
Wow.
I would have thought you beat about 70% of the value range.
You would think so, right? Yeah, I just had a bad feeling.
Brimmelhaus is officially off my home game list. We don't like tricky players.
Well, Brimmelhaus gets the full double up. How did he do it? Here are Antonio Esfandiari and Phil Locke.
Mikhail shows us what can happen when you mix it up, and he really does mix it up here. He's definitely collecting some future implied value from this hand.
Throw your opponents off and not play the standard ABC. You really want to mix it up. And by playing this hand this way, by 3-betting with 7-6, and then checking the nuts on the turn, that's exactly what he does. It makes your opponents know that you're capable of playing any 2 cards in any which way. And so, therefore, it's really hard to figure out what you have. So, fantastic job for mixing it up.
Yeah, Phil and Antonio confirm it for me. No home games for Mikhail Brimmelhaus.
Blair's about to go on a break, and Phil Hellmuth paying his respects to Annette.
Can I get some love?
Doing my best.
You just won.
You don't get anything.
Thank you, sir.
You have too many chips.
Back to the dwindling number of outer tables. New Yorker Jason Cohen hoping to keep the candles lit on his birthday gift. All in with King Jack against Steve G's Pocket Queens.
Lots of spades, lots of hearts.
This hand a rematch of the 1981 ALCS. Boy, Steve G is sweating this hand like he's the one at risk with King Jack.
But it is indeed Jason Cohen. Here's the flop. 6-4-6. G uneasy, but still ahead.
Yeah, this isn't the Yankees year line.
Pretty ugly flop for Cohen. Turn card is a 10 only, brings Jason Cohen closer to his demise.
Cohen's got to have a king.
The river card is an ace. Steve G will take the pot, and Jason Cohen's main event story has written its final chapter.
Cohen's $10,000 birthday present from his wife turned into a fabulous $50,000 poker journey. Well done, Jason Cohen.
He better stop off at Mamari Jewelers on the way home and give his wife a little gift. $50,752 for Jason Cohen. Well done. Steve G continues to steal headlines here on day 5.
Right here, he's going to buy him.
His path to a repeat final table just became a little more clear.
I hate going out like that. There's only one overcard.
Yeah.
God, I mean, I got one overcard. I
went in my bag and all I had was...
They want to take chip for you?
You're going to finish that guy off, man. Well, I knew you were going to finish the job.
I know you're going to.
Steve G with 2.5 million chips and cruising. P.S. Hines and Greg Merson, the last 2 main event champions. Steve G hoping to be the next.
I don't want to get overconfident because I really want to come back tomorrow. Like every poker player says, this would be the most painful exit of any tournament. I just want to come back and play tomorrow and have a chance to play.
For many here, they're just hoping to make it through the next round, one hand at a time. The blinds up to 15 and 30,000, a 5K ante, and they're making their stacks out of 3 types of chips: the 5K, 25K, and lavender 100K chip. Jonathan Jaffe
65.
with Pocket Queens for today's chosen one. A raise to 65,000, 2 5s for a net.
She now has well under an average stack. And Brimmelhouse with the above average stack now, raring to go.
Pocket pair into the muck, and a smaller pocket pair for McKeel, 4s. And he's going to call. Rep Porter gives up his 5 tray. The small blind Mandich, ace king again.
Yeah, he was studying architecture at the University of Split in Croatia and dropped out to play ace king.
And he's seen plenty of action in front of him. Now in the small blind with ace king, a re-raise to 215,000. J.C. Tran in the big blind with a weak ace suited. He folds. Jaffe now with the big stack and the pocket queens.
600 behind, Goran?
Probably.
Jaffe, the big man on campus at this table. Mandich with about 20 big blinds left.
Total of 375.
A 4-bet from Jaffe. Brimmelhouse runs.
All in.
Call.
Mandich all in and a quick call.
Wow. Bang, bang by the book.
Good luck, sir.
Goran did not have any luck last time with ace king.
Jaffe's favorite TV show is The Wire. Mandich's favorite is How I Met Your Mother. I've got to give Jaffe the edge in that race.
10 deuce 7. Pocket queen still good for Jaffe.
Not much there for Mandich. Ace or king is his best bet.
Yep, with the 2 overs, almost a 3-to-1 dog. Turn card now.
I heard it was a queen. What are you talking about?
8 of spades. Jaffe's still ahead, but Mandich now with the better of the 2 flush draws.
Yeah, you can ring up a new set of outs for Mandich. Now an ace, king, or any spade, and the 27-year-old Croatian will stick around.
The river card is a spade. Mandich with the better flush, surviving his all in.
Mandich had 1 foot out the door. Instead, he's got 1 average stack now.
Mandich will stack over 1.8 million chips with that double up, while Jaffe proves he's human, losing almost 20% of his stack. All right, let's go to an outer table now. Josh Prager on the left turned trip trays and bet 200,000 on the right. James Alexander has 2 pair, 10s and trays. And he calls. The river card. The ace of spades. Prager rivers trays full, which gives Alexander aces up.
Prager finished 96th at the 05 main event. Alexander's brother Dwayne was 109th at the 2011 main event, so he's already surpassed him.
Prager bets $350,000. Now the 34-year-old Texan Alexander with aces up makes the call, and will have to pay off Josh Prager.
That's just too sick.
It is a little sick.
That's sick.
But it was good timing for my husband.
That's just sick.
It was like a self-destruct moment.
The timing couldn't be better.
The last time I have such a good hand. Not that good, but I can't fold on the turn.
Good hand, sir. Next.
And then the queen's just too tempting to play. In case he has ace queen or whatever.
That's dirty.
Okay. The camera's coming over too, like self-destruct moment on people 435 or whatever. It's like, we're here to see it.
Prager now sits with almost 2 million chips. Alexander down to about 2.5 million. Back to the featured table where every seat is a hot seat. Jonathan Jaffe, the man of the hour. Mikhail Brummelhouse under the gun with ace-queen.
And Brummelhouse will take ace-queen out for a stroll.
Now raised to 65,000.
You should bring a raincoat with ace-queen.
The payouts getting up there. The money bumps getting more lucrative as well. That encourages some players to hang tight and stick around, but the top pros are gunning for the big money. 8.3 million to our champion this year. Eli Heath folds on the button. Sergio Castelluccio with King Jack.
He finished 4th in the 2012 EPT Monte Carlo main event. That was worth more than $500,000. But I want to know what he has strapped to his left shoulder.
The Italian pro with the call.
I think he has a really large no-limit hold'em app that he carries around.
Saw Jaffe fold. Annette folds her big blind. So heads up, Brummelhouse taking on Castelluccio. Ace-queen against King Jack. Brummelhouse has Castelluccio covered by almost 400,000 chips as they started the hand. Here's the flop. Jack, Trey, ace. Brummelhouse with top pair, middle pair for Castelluccio.
A little something for everybody. Well, we only have 2 players, but I like saying a little something for everybody.
Well, there's a check from Mikhail.
Let's say he carries around a poker manual, but it's just embarrassing to pull it out mid-hand for instruction.
Super Systems is a very thick book, and then there's a follow-up to that. Another tray on the turn. Ace is up for Brummelhouse. Jack's up for Castelluccio. And now Mikhail decides to bet 90,000.
I remember Mikhail with the slow play earlier against the net when he had the straight. He slow plays here again on the flop.
He gets Castelluccio to call.
Good bet, bad call.
400,000 in the pot. Castelluccio needs help. The river 6 does not bring it. Brummelhouse with the best hand. The Dutch pro thinking that half the pot is a good bet here.
And here's the other thing to remember about Brummelhouse. When they see you raise with 7-6 off, they know you could be betting here with absolutely nothing, so your strong hands get paid off often.
Sergio with a lesser 2-pair calls.
Ace-queen.
Yeah, when you sigh when you call, you're probably beat. Sergio sensed it.
Mikhail Brummelhouse finds a way to collect chips. As you mentioned, Norman, whether it's 7-6 off or ace-queen, the chips are just flowing his way today.
Well played again. Check the flop. Got value on later streets. He's now crossed off my home game list twice.
Castelluccio takes a hit. When things aren't going well, it seems like you make a lot of second-best hands. The main event is unrelenting as we close in on 100 players remaining. Tonight's bracelet moments are presented by PokerNews.com. He's making a deep run in the main event, but Nick Schwarman came up just short in an earlier World Series event, finishing second to Justin Oliver in the $2,500 four-handed no-limit hold'em tournament. Music blogger Sandeep Pulasani rocked the $3,000 no-limit hold'em event for nearly $600,000 and the bracelet. And 2 men won over $700,000 in no-limit events, German Nicholas Teichert and British pro Matt Perrins. Teichert took his bracelet down in the $2,500 buy-in, and Perrins won the $5,000 buy-in event. Plenty of players still in the main event had deep runs or big scores earlier in the series. Josh Pollock won a bracelet in the 1,500 pot limit Omaha event. Rep Porter was 4th in the $1,500 horse event.
Jonathan, pick a shuffleboard target for me and I'll practice.
What's that?
Pick me a target, I'll practice.
All right.
How about the white line at the end of the box?
Yeah, okay.
The box.
Yeah, that's the right move.
I lay you 3-1 if you can get one card in the box without touching the line.
Oh my God, that's
Without
absurd.
touching a line?
Dude,
He needs
said,
like 10 to 1.
He
That's
said,
so tough.
come on, man, let me hustle,
Sorry.
not you. It's my hustle or yours. I'm not betting you.
I'm sorry. You're right.
All right, 3.5 to 1. Last call.
You give me 5 to 1, but we got to bet big.
What's big?
Oh, I don't know.
He was setting this up a long time ago with that first thing.
Listen, the smooth hustle takes some practice.
How is poker shuffleboard not an Olympic event?
Yeah, the money's big, but the days are long, and everyone can use a diversion once in a while. Sold it to Rep Porter. He doubled up recently, figures to be around for a while. Why not playing card shuffleboard?
Ooh. He's getting practice shots in.
Ooh, that's it. He can do it. Hey, true odds are about 3.5 to 1.
Boy, if poker shuffleboard were a bracelet event, Rep Porter might have 15 of them. He already has 2 bracelets in established events.
Mandich will keep his cards and raises to 60,000 with King Queen. J.C. Tran now will have to keep his as well. Ace Jack of Hearts and a call. Oliver Price.
Come on in. Come on in.
No, he's not in either game.
What is this, no limit Texas Fold'em? Play ball, son. 9-8 suited.
Sergio Castelluccio folds his small, Jaffe his big. Heads up, JC and Mandich. The flop, Jack, Queen, 7, 2 hearts. Top pair for Mandich. Middle pair and a flush draw for JC Tran. Mandich checks.
Tran, usually with no shades, he put on the sunglasses here on day 5 because he thought he might be giving something away.
So Tran bets 85,000.
And this is a coin flip flop for these two.
And there's a call from Mandich. Indeed. Here's a turn card. Ace of diamonds. Tran surges down the stretch with aces up. Mandich checked his 11% hand.
Tran's one of those players you feel confident is always making the right decision, but he isn't obnoxious about it, just a go about his business classy pro.
Mandich now sees JC bet 220,000 into him.
Mandich doesn't like it, then he shouldn't like it.
But the Croatian pro not going anywhere, seems undeterred, decides to call. River card 6 of spades brings no relief to Mandich. He checks a third time.
I prefer JC without the shades, but with or without him, he's a terrific player.
Great family man as well. Strong supporter of his Sacramento Kings, as we've mentioned. 390,000 from Tran.
Tran confident he's best here. Mandich left with second pair and a sinking feeling it's not good enough.
Mandich has check called twice. Not looking good for a third time, and he misses the box to boot.
Not even close. Poker, shuffleboard, donkey.
And JC Tran will build his stack to a cool $2.5 million.
JC just goes about his business a little better than the Sacramento Kings do.
Away from the feature table where Annette was one of 4 women remaining. Now just 3 out there. Kima Kimura out in 100th place. Texas's Beverly Lang, though, is still in it.
Her husband, Steve, here railing her. They got married the day of a Texas-Oklahoma football game, and she had to fight with the wedding coordinator to get the game played during the reception.
Australia's Jackie Glazier below average but healthy with $1.4 million.
She was smart. When she married her husband, Jamie, Texas and Oklahoma weren't playing that day.
So just 3 women left. Let's check in right now with Kara Scott.
When Greg Merson was eliminated earlier on day 5, that left just one former main event champion in the field with a chance to take home his second World Series of Poker main event bracelet. Carlos Mortensen bested a field of 613 runners in 2001 to take the title. Now, 12 years later, the field size here is 10 times as big. He's already outlasted more than 6,000 runners, and with every level, we get closer to the final table. He's had an incredible career as well. He's made over $10 million in live tournament cashes. He's at the top of the all-time money list for the WPT. He has 3 WPT titles, 2 bracelets, including the main event. And right now, he's sitting at our secondary feature table.
Carlos Mortensen heating up in the latter stages of the main event. Wakes up with Kings.
Here, Carlos won the main event. The final table included Dewey Tomko, Phil Hellmuth, and Mike Matisow.
And with the Kings, Carlos with a min raise plus 5K, 65,000 to Rettenmeyer with pocket queens.
Ugly. Ugly. What a bad time to be short stacked with pocket queens.
20 big blinds from Marvin and a handful of bad luck. And that is all in. So now Alexander Livingston folds 7 deuce. Synovio Ramirez with pocket eights, business owner in Texas.
35-year-old from Mercedes. This is his 3rd main event cash.
Giving serious thought to taking on these 2 top pros.
It's just pocket eights. Pocket nines, of course, I'm going to play. But pocket eights, got to get rid of them.
Got a world champ, and then a guy who's won $4 million in live poker earnings in front of him. Ramirez finds those eights very sticky, decides to fold.
He didn't want to fold them, but it was the right decision.
He had to say it before his hand would actually get rid of the cards. No one else wants to play with these 2 heavyweights. Back to Carlos. There's the call. Marvin Rettenmaier at risk and way behind.
Mortensen with 3 WPT titles, Rettenmaier with 2 WPT titles.
This is Rettenmeier's first, though, main event cash of his career. That is surprising. Carlos running good, looking for the big knockout.
Want to chop?
Yeah, if the queen came, yes, absolutely.
I'm rooting for a chopped pot. 2 gentlemen, poker heavyweights.
Here's the flop. 8 in the window. Ramirez is cringing. 4 trade to go along with it. Mortensen's king's still good, though.
There will be no chopped pot. Mad Marvin needs a lot of help.
The equation is simple for him, and there's another 8. Ramirez folded the pocket eights, remember? Oh.
And now just 2 outs for Rettenmaier. He has to have a queen.
Of spades.
The river card, the deuce of diamonds, the matador does it again. And that win also eliminates a very talented pro in Marvin Rettenmaier. 99th place, worth nearly $60,000. He is a world-traveling poker money printing machine.
The last scarf standing is gone. And, you know, I think Mortensen's finally over an average stack.
You know, I know folding. You would have, like, stuck me there.
He started day 5 on hand 1 with a small double-up and has built his stack to nearly $2 million. Carlos Mortensen's kings hold up, and it's clear that with that stack and his skill, he's a force at this main event. The 0-1 champ looking for a return to the final table. At this stage of the main event, the last woman standing could easily be the last player standing. Last year, Gail Bowman and Elizabeth Hill nearly made poker history, just missing the final table. In 2013, Annette Oberstad, Jackie Glazier, and Beverly Lang looked to build on Hill's and Bowman's success.
I'm just a little girl from Texas that loves to play poker. I'm pretty sure I'm winning no matter what you do.
Turn last woman standing on its head and capture the 2013 World Series of Poker main event title. Welcome back to the Rio. We're under 100 players at the 2013 World Series of Poker main event. I'm Lon McCarron on hand with Norman Chad and Kara Scott. At an outer table, Jackie Glazier and Yevgeny Timoshenko involved in a pot. Jackie, one of 3 women remaining in the main event. Timoshenko just turned a king-high flush and bet $205,000. Glazier with 2 pair and a meaningless flush draw. And she makes the call.
Maybe she thinks a club wins it for her. Maybe she's thinking of bluffing the river.
Here is the river, and the 10 comes home for Glazier. Her boat trumps Yevgeny's flush.
What a river thunderbolt for Glazier.
Gotta let him watch the hand.
Timoshenko is sizing a bet right now. He should be sizing a coffin.
Timoshenko with the king-high flush. 500,000.
She was a 10-to-1 dog going to the river, and a 10 landed in her lap.
Now Jackie Glazier says all in for just under $1 million, and Yevgeny can't believe it.
He's exasperated. This would be for about 15% of his stack. Yevgeny's getting about 5-to-1 on a call here, but I imagine Glazier is almost never bluffing in this spot.
Yevgeny, Ukrainian-born American citizen, great poker pro. That is one smart poker player.
Yeah, she got lucky, and he made a very nice laydown there.
Yevgeny gives up the chips, lost over 20% of his stack, but still sits with over 3.1 million. Nice fold. For Glazier, the Australian pro gets a nice jolt to her chip holdings. She's got nearly 2.3 million now. Around the room, one of the biggest stories is Steve G's return to the final 100.
I think he's taken some main event pill he orders from some out-of-town biogenesis clinic.
Businessman Sammy Rustin has been the chip leader for most of the day.
Businessman, yeah. His business is relieving people of their chips.
There's the chip leader, Canadian Marc-Etienne McLaughlin.
The 25-year-old is good friends with Jonathan Duhamel. That's a good start.
The leaderboard starting to look a little familiar now. Canadian Jason Mann right now in third place. The Canadians have had a great World Series.
I'd still like to slip AARP-eligible Dan Owen onto the final table. If a 65-year-old can make it, the November 9 will be an early bird.
We've had a tough featured table. Dutch pro Michiel Brimmelhaus over $2 million after taking a lot from Annette Oberstadt. Dolphin trainer in training Jonathan Jaffe has been the table captain for a while, still the biggest stack here at nearly $3 million. Let's take a look at how the featured table lays out. Consummate pro J.C. Tran healthy in seat number 1.
Hard to criticize JC, though he is a rare breed, a die-hard Sacramento Kings fan.
Norwegian pro Annette Oberstadt on the decline, now just cresting 1 million chips.
Annette has been card dead at the feature table, and with Jaffe to her right opening nearly every pot, she hasn't had many opportunities.
Current payout, nearly $60,000.
Me? I had a couple low hundreds.
I thought you were like 30th or something.
No. This is my personal best so far.
How many times played?
I played since 04. I think this is my 6th main event cash.
JC with over $8 million in live career tournament earnings. Annette Oberstadt with 10-5, and she'll raise to $60,000.
Annette in early position with the don't try this at home hand.
Michiel Brimmelhaus, pocket trays.
Brimmelhaus and JC Tran have something in common, both expecting a child later this year.
Brimmelhaus with 2 World Series final tables to his credit makes the call. So Annette gets a hanger on, folded around to the button and JC Tran.
JC mentioned his 6 main event cashes. In 2004 and 5, he did something that will never be repeated. Back-to-back 117th place finishes in the main event.
What are the odds? Folded to Eli Heath in the big blind.
Eli Heath, proud member of the double first name club.
Minimal World Series earnings for this 25-year-old British pro until this nice score at the main event he calls.
I don't like any of these hands, Lon. Let's reshuffle the deck.
Here's the flop. 10-9 ace. Eli Heath misses. He checks. Annette with middle pair, she checks.
Nobody comfortable with that ace on the flop.
Brimmelhaus checks his trays. JC Tran checks his straight draw. A free turn card, another 9. Heath with just king high, checks. 2 pair now for Annette. And she checks again. Brimmelhaus with the smaller 2 pair.
He's gonna bet, why not? They're gift wrapping it to him.
Absolutely, 105,000. JC Tran now with the draw. And he folds. Heath with a folder now has a chance, but king high into the muck.
Annette has never liked her hand. Hey, if you're gonna play the 10-5 and you hit a 10 on the flop and you're unhappy, then don't play the 10-5 to start. That's what my mother would tell me.
Maybe a sign she's off her game. She plays the hand, hits her best card, and then doesn't do anything about it. She makes the call. River card is the Jack of Diamonds. Annette's hand is best.
I'd be surprised to see her bet now, though.
Yeah, scary board. She does check. Michiel Brimmelhaus.
260.
Brimmelhaus is bluffing house.
He says 260,000.
Annette is unsure. Like the day I walked into my astronomy final in spring '81 without studying because I'd gone to the Loggins Messina concert the night before.
Annette didn't show any gumption throughout this hand. Does she want to call here? She does not.
Out of position, plus weak hand, plus short stack, equals fold the best hand on the river.
Annette not in the groove, allowed Brimmelhaus to be the aggressor, cost her that pot.
She's not feeling good about it. She knows chips are power. Michiel bluffing house has got the power.
A closer look at Dutch poker pro Michiel Brimmelhaus, who also plays tennis regularly and can boast a victory over Patrick Antonius.
There's also a weekly poker game with Brimmelhaus, Newhouse, and Vault House.
A home game?
No, there they call it a house game.
Oh. 3 chips in play, the 5K, 25K, and a lavender 100K chip.
The guys that lose are the guys that have too much pride in how good they are, so they admit the
These
truth.
are the guys that can look themselves in the eye there.
Yeah, they're bragging about how good they are. Well, good for you.
Yeah, you've either got cheaters or hustlers in golf. It's one or the other.
I don't bet in golf anymore.
Yeah, it's a bad proposition.
I'm probably a lifetime loser in golf bets. Not a lot, though. Small.
During JC's confession, Eli Heath raised with Queen Jack to 60,000. On the button, Jonathan Jaffe, Queen 9.
Queen high on the button for Jaffe.
105.
Smells like a 3-bet. He's been doing it since day one.
It is.
Stick to that. Don't go to the pool, don't go to golf.
Jaffe re-raised to 105,000. Back to Heath now.
See? Now you're out of position, Mr. Heath, with Queen Jack and a striped shirt. You're probably an underdog on two fronts, card-wise and fashion-wise.
He's got the better hand, Norman.
Don't bother me with useless facts, play-by-play meister.
Heath makes the call. Jaffe sees that Heath has a much smaller chip stack than he. Heads up now. The flop, Jack, Tray, 8, top pair for Heath. Gut shot for Jaffe.
Who's got the better hand now?
Heath has the better hand still.
Oh. Well, Rome wasn't built in a day, and poker hands weren't made on the flop.
After a check, Jaffe bets 125,000 with his draw.
Yeah, we've got a draw. All this guy has is top pair, sunglasses, a striped shirt, and an $18 haircut.
125,000 is the call.
I'm comfortable with where Mr. Jaffe stands.
Turn card now. 4 of spades. Jaffe now a 10-to-1 dog.
You check, you lose, son.
He does check.
Aha. I guarantee you Jonathan Jaffe has the 9% solution. He can train dolphins. He certainly knows how to tame some 25-year-old tourist with a business degree.
260.
Maybe Heath is happy to allow Jaffe to volunteer chips into the pot. 260,000.
I like it, Lon. Hand over. Ship it.
I don't think Heath is going anywhere.
I hate a stubborn guy in a striped shirt.
Eli Heath with the call.
This fella's a calling station. Well, I hope he misses the next calling train.
All right, river card now. Is a 10. Oh, there you go, Norman. Jaffe rivers a straight.
Hello, Mr. Gutshot. Have you met Mr. Heath?
Oh, goodness. Heath checks again.
Small one.
Jaffe puts Heath all in.
Now, Jaffe gets very lucky, and he puts Heath in a very tough spot. This is for Eli Heath's main event. He's got top pair. You hate calling off your chips. It takes a lot of poker guts, and when you're wrong, you just want to heave your guts. If Heath folds here, he's left with 24 big blinds.
So tantalizing to try and call the unpredictable Jaffe down. He does call all in. And will look for the nearest exit.
Wow, what a river. Sick river.
Jonathan Jaffe got there, earning more chips, scoring the knockout of Eli Heath, who's gone in 92nd place. And lucky river card. The 2013 World Series of Poker. There's the bracelet that goes to this year's champion. Oh, and $8.3 million too. Las Vegas pro Keanu Tabali has pocket nines and called the pre-flop all-in of Kansas businessman and high roller Brandon Stephen, who shoved with ace-king of spades.
You may recall Stephen from that memorable hand in which he folded the winner on the river to Beverly Lang.
No help to Brandon Stephen. Turn card. And Tabali turns a set. Stephen has the nut flush draw.
Stephen still can survive with a spade that doesn't pair the board.
The river card is a spade, but it does pair the board. So Tabali's full boat outguns the nut flush.
Stephen saw the spade and thought he was safe. He was 10th in 2010, just missing the November 9.
Brandon Stephen has played his last hand of the 2013 main event. Another impressive finish, as you mentioned, Norman, but not the big money payout he was shooting for. Beverly Lang comes over for some consolation. Keanu Tabali now over $3 million.
Keanu? I hope he plays better than the other Keanu acts.
What is it, the internet or?
So while Brandon Stephen walks off the disappointment, let's move back to the feature table where Justin Kong Van Tran, better known as J.C. Tran, just whiffed on a deuce ace 10 flop. Sergio Castelluccio did catch top pair. Castelluccio's action, he checks.
Tran has nothing. Castelluccio has the weak ace. Frankly, I prefer nothing.
Tran bets 75,000.
See, with squad douche, you can bluff or get away from your hand, but with the weak ace, you never know what's going on.
Castelluccio just with a call. Turn card, Jack of Diamonds. Castelluccio still best with top pair. He checks again.
Tran has nothing. Castelluccio has the weak ace. Frankly, I prefer nothing.
The weak ace is a 91% favorite.
You're so fact-driven, you just don't see the truth.
185,000 from Tran with a gut shot.
Castelluccio's favorite hobby is to play the guitar. His second favorite hobby is to play the weak ace.
Who didn't see that coming? Castelluccio with the call. A number of reasons to bet a drawing hand. JC knows all of them. River card now is a king, and JC Tran hits Broadway. Castelluccio checks again.
Tran has the nuts. Castelluccio has the weak ace. Frankly, I prefer the nuts.
You are so results driven.
Well, right now, JC is channeling his inner Yevgeny Timoshenko and figuring out a bet size here.
350,000.
The weak ace doesn't look so strong right now. There's no ace he can beat. He loses to a set, to two pair. He loses to a queen. I don't like the weak ace.
So you don't like the weak ace?
You're a quick study.
Okay. Castelluccio does fold the weak ace. Top pair. Veteran J.C. Tran knows you don't catch cards like that every day, but when you do, it sure is sweet.
Well, as it turns out, a bluff might have worked there in the end, but guys like Jaffe and Tran shouldn't be allowed to run this good. It leaves everyone else defenseless.
Well, Norman, as you know, J.C., one of the most well-respected pros on the tournament circuit and one of the most successful ones, too. Over $8 million in career earnings, but the most important number for him right now is 2, the number of kids he'll soon have.
J.C., born in Vietnam, came to the U.S. when he was 2 years old, got his college degree from Sacramento State, but he walked into a card room at age 21 and pretty much never walked out.
Want to know more about your favorite players? Go on over to ESPN.com/poker. Chip stacks can grow very quickly here on day 5 as the blinds increase and put pressure on the shorter stacks to make a move. And at this stage, a short stack of, say, 10 big blinds is still 400,000 chips.
We're down to under 100 players. 30 years ago, 1983, they started with 108 players, and Tom McAvoy won. Doral Brunson was 3rd that year.
The blinds are up to 20 and 40,000. And he's still 5K. On the button, Jaffe, 9-6 off.
Well, 30 years ago, Jaffe was not even on this earth, so he couldn't raise with 9-6 off.
Jaffe does raise to a net with pocket 5s. What to do? Time for a little white magic, perhaps.
A net, 2 5s. Well, 90% of the world's just going to move in with 5s here because you have 20 big blinds. You're in the small blind, only one person to act behind you. You have 40,000 big blind, and you have 800,000 in chips. 20 big blinds. The math says, the game theory says, move all in. But, as you know, I'm not a big believer in the game theory. Annette is too great of a player to just blindly shove with 5s. I'd like to see her call and wait for a better spot, because great players find great spots. Wait.
I think she'll wait to see if her all-in is called.
Yeah.
I'm all in.
Annette does shove for 810,000. Marching to her own magic, and 2 kings for Brimmelhouse. Uh-oh.
Oh, just horrific luck for Annette. Like Helmuth said, 90% of players would go all in with their pocket pair in the small blind. Brimmelhouse just happens to have a bigger pair in the big blind.
I bet Brimmelhouse would like to have some of Jaffe's chips in the middle, too.
By the way, what better spot was the brat wanting her to wait for? The button's raising with anything, and you've got a pocket pair in the small blind.
Brimmelhouse just calls back to Jaffe with 9-6. This shouldn't take long. He does fold.
Hey, I'm back.
Annette's 1 pair in big trouble.
Looks like I need it. Can I use my 1 time now? Actually, I've already used my 1 time. Yeah.
Better leave.
Yeah, it's true. That was Euro. I'm going to use my 1 time in the States now.
We now have 1 times available in different continents. It's officially out of control.
Whatever you can do.
That's right.
I was thinking that.
No 5 in that flop.
This is a good flop.
But she did pick up a straight draw.
7. Spade. Oh, that doesn't do anything.
Turn card. Another deuce. One last shot now for Annette Oberstadt.
Don't be a jerk, Mikhail. Give her one.
It's okay.
The river card is a blank, and Annette Oberstadt will walk off the biggest stage in poker with another fine showing, knocked out by Mikhail Brummelhaus. Mikhail's stack grows to over 3.3 million. 89th place will take home over 71,000. All but one deep run must come to an end. Annette out late on day 5. Welcome back to the World Series of Poker main event, late here on day 5 at the Rio. Just 88 players left. We caught up with Annette Oberstadt, who just busted in 89th.
I feel like I played well this whole tournament. I mean, today I had chips at one point. Obviously, like, it goes through your head. You're like, I might have like a 5% chance of making a final table now. And it's kind of like, cool, you know? But then you kind of start thinking that, you know what, like, it's 5%. It's so small.
There's Vancouver attorney Jason Mann. His trip 9's a big favorite after the turning. And Steve G holding the stronger flush draw.
Steve G always has a 5% chance of making the main event final table.
Over 7 million chips between the two. Mann with 4.5, G with more than 2.5.
Jason Mann, criminal defense attorney, once worked as a sushi server. Frankly, I just can't see that.
He bets 110,000. Now Steve G.
Mann had checked the flop, and that has allowed G to pick up the spade draw on the turn.
That's more than 110,000. Steve G with a raise to 320.
I've come to believe Steve G is Nick Walenda's half-brother nobody knows about because he's usually on a high wire himself.
He loves to put this kind of pressure on his opponents, but it also puts pressure on himself.
Well, right here at a minimum, he has got Mann back on his heels.
Exactly what he wanted. Mann with a call of 210 more. One card to come now. Over 900,000 chips in the middle. The river card. 4 of hearts. No flush comes. Trips are good for Mann. He checks.
Mann ceded control of the pot when he simply called G's raise on the turn.
But G missed his hand.
Yeah, but I don't think G likes his chances of winning a showdown if he just checks here.
Yeah, we know there's only one way he can win this pot. It's to push Mann away. And that looks like what Steve G wants to do. 700,000.
Boy, that is one big river bet.
He's got Mann squirming.
Threes. Like you want to bet the flop. And a 9, I'd probably have you beat. Oh, that's such a big bet. It's like you know what I have.
You know how they say don't kid a kidder? I say don't try to out-litigate a lawyer.
Maybe 10-9, maybe Jack 9, 9-8.
Steve G's built a case here for a huge hand. Will the attorney believe it?
I call.
Call. Turn the cards up.
Jason makes the call. Steve G comes up empty in a big way.
King high.
And the table sees the big flop for Mann. And a nice pot goes to the Vancouver attorney. Steve G takes a hit down to about $1.5 million now.
G plays some poker, boy, but it doesn't always work.
And Jason Mann holding on to some of that Canadian run good here this summer at the World Series, up to almost $5.7 million. At another table, one of the 2 remaining women, Beverly Lang, is being tested. Chris Kinane with pocket kings raised Lang all in. Lang holds ace-jack of diamonds.
Mr. Vinny, I would like to winnie, because I'm all inning.
There you go, Lang. Calls all in.
She's invented a new all-in call. It's longer than Heidi Ho, but it's catchy.
Nice shot. All right, let's see what
Been
happens.
good to me all tournament.
It'll be there.
He can lose.
Good luck to both of you.
Poker love, no matter what happens.
The Texas event planner and drill team impresario needs some poker love right now.
She does indeed. Lang's ace-jack suited all in against the kings. And here's the flop, a set for Kanane.
Well, that's not very nice.
Lang paired her ace, and now pairs her jack.
Okay. Okay.
This table has been weird.
I don't really want a club. I would like a jack, though. Because... Oh, jack's no good. What do I need? An ace.
Only an ace.
I need an ace. Benny, my man.
The river card, not an ace. Kanane scores the knockout of Beverly Lang.
Good luck, baby. Had a blast. Y'all were so fun.
She came in with a smile and goes out with a smile. That's the way to do it.
It's my first main event. Love sitting by you. Woo!
What a run for Beverly Lang.
And all you ladies who are chicken to play, y'all come play because you're good.
The main event loses a delightful character in Beverly Lang, leaving Australia's Jackie Glazier as the last woman standing. But we know this pro has bigger goals in mind. Back in Las Vegas, let's go down to Kara Scott for a report.
We now have only one female player left here in the main event. Australian Jackie Glazier is once again taking a deep run, and she's already far surpassed her 284th place finish from last year. Along with that deep run, she had a banner 2012. She won the Melbourne Poker Championship in Australia, then flew to Las Vegas, came second in a 3K no-limit hold'em bracelet event. And with the debut of the World Series of Poker Asia Pacific stop in Melbourne this year, well, it seems fitting that she should be here taking a run at the biggest final table in poker, with her Australian rail cheering her on.
Jackie spoke to us about her run and what it means to other women.
I think aside from just my personal goals, and which have nothing to do with my gender, it is very important for me to inspire other women to play poker, and I think that seeing another female make a final table World Series, I would hope would be a lot of inspiration for other female poker players. And if it's not me, I truly hope another female does get there.
Among those on Jackie's rail, Australian poker pioneer Marsha Wagner, who finished 19th in the 1993 main event and 12th in the 97 main event.
With a flush draw on 2 overs, Jackie trying to catch Chris Johnson's leading pocket sevens. Johnson checked the flop. Jackie putting chips together, 315,000.
Johnson, 27-year-old Las Vegas pro with a marketing degree from the University of Nebraska.
It has been a marvelous summer of poker for Johnson. 7 cashes at this World Series, including 1 final table. And now here, the deep run in the main event. And he makes that call. So over $1 million in the pot now. Turn card. Another 8. Johnson now with 2 pairs, 7s and 8s. He checks it again. Jackie says all in.
Glazier semi-bluff shoves. The last woman standing could be the next player out if Johnson can find a call in him. But this is for almost all his remaining chips, so it is one tough call.
Jackie putting as much pressure on Johnson as she can.
She could have an overpair to the board. She could have an 8 in her hand, or she could have a draw. Would she bluff shove on a draw?
And with Chris taking his time, Jackie's pretty confident she's got outs if he does call. What a moment here on day 5 of the main event. Jackie's husband on the left, Jamie on pins and needles as well. Chris Johnson basically knows this is a decision for his main event. He does make the call.
Good call by Chris Johnson, and now he hopes it gets rewarded.
Jackie Glazier at risk and behind.
She's looking for an ace, 10, or any diamond other than the 7, or she's out of here.
And the river card is a 10! Jackie Rivers a better 2-pair to claim this $4 million chip pot.
So demoralizing for Chris Johnson.
Johnson not rewarded for making the correct call. Jackie can hardly believe her luck.
Apparently there have been no advancement in the Aussie cheers in the last 8 years.
Jackie Glazier's main event run isn't over yet. The 2013 World Series of Poker is brought to you by the official WSOP social game. Download now on Facebook or your smartphone. The scene just outside the Amazon room, food trucks create plenty of edible options for the players. Elizabeth Hill had a bite earlier in the event. Orlando pro Nick Schwarman now out of the main event, provided plenty of entertaining hands along the way.
He was a kid with a dream.
Nice payday for Schwarman, nearly $85,000. Canadian Jan Dion has all his chips at risk with pocket nines. Nebraska farmer Phil Mader has about a third of his at risk, making the call with ace-king.
Jack Bauer thinks the farmer is a terrorist threat.
All right, here's the flop. Dion at risk. 6 queen deuce. Dion's 9 still ahead. Both players could really use this pot. Turn card is a 9. Dion with an unbeatable set, doubling through farmer Phil. And Phil sees the ace on the river, too little, too late.
So Jack Bauer might have another 24 hours of play in him.
Mader's fine main event continues. He still has 2.5 million chips. Elsewhere, Florida pro Noah Schwartz flopped a set of 6s against the pocket kings that Augie Spetz shoved with.
A heart, a heart. Heart or a king.
McLovin's got 14 World Series cashes, 3 final tables. Spetz has to have a king or a heart other than the 4.
He turned the flush draw. The river card, the 7 of clubs, bringing an end to this main event for Augie Spetz.
Good luck. Good luck, everyone. I got lucky. You can't win an 80 so many times.
He doubled up until he didn't.
Back to Jackie Glazier. Her pocket kings are still good on the turn against the pocket jacks and jack high straight draw of Ryan Reese. She checks.
Reese the Beast, 23-year-old Michigan State grad.
With a big stack of chips. That's 175,000.
He bets with what could be the best hand. It's not. And of course, he still could hit a jack, or a river 8 would give Ryan a winning straight.
Jackie Glazier with her pocket kings, not going anywhere. River card now. Deuce of clubs. Glazier is safe. Checks again. As does Ryan.
Good check back on the river from Reese. Saves some chips.
Well, not the monster pot we thought we might see with those 2 big hands, but Jackie will be stacking the winnings again. Reese takes a small hit, still sits with 5.5 million.
And echoes of oi, oi, oi now being heard again throughout Clark County.
Bouncing off the Joe Hashem banner here in the Amazon room. Jackie had dropped below 4 million, now back over it. Day 5 in the books, players bagging their chips. It was a good one for J.C. Tran at the feature table.
If he ends up with all the chips, the Sacramento Kings should hire him to coach.
Chip leader Sammy Rustam enjoying a 7 million chip stack.
He's an investor. His next investment should be in himself.
Jackie back in her winning ways.
The last woman standing should hire a man to bag her chips.
So Rustam in the lead right now, followed by 2 Canadians. Ryan Reese, the Beast, in 7th. 68 players remain.
And don't look now, but Steve G still out there. I'll have what he's having.
I wanted to have a deep run, but even I didn't think I would be here playing on day 6.
Started the day with $1 million, bagged like 5.57, so it was a very good day.
I mean, obviously, this is amazing. Like, just to get to a day 6 is something that every poker player wants to achieve. Finally, I'm here, 65 people away from making $8 million, being the champion of the world. It's quite exciting.
Tonight, the storylines of the 2013 main event continued to shift. Jackie Glazier is the last woman standing after Annette Oberstad, and Beverly Lang's deep runs got deep 6th. We got introduced to Reese the Beast.
Single, by the way.
And Syrian-born Sammy Rustam.
I think you have ace-king at all.
Carlos Mortensen and J.C. Tran continue to impress, but as we learn and relearn each day, nothing is guaranteed at the main event.
Your hustle, not you. Is it my hustle or yours? I'm not betting you.
For Norman Chad and Kara Scott, I'm Lon McCarron. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. We'll see you on day 6.